And I usually wait for people to start coming in, but again, this is not for views. It's to be for those that come across this because it's divine time and that's the way it's supposed to go. And this time, I got time, but I'm gonna still keep going. So, I'm led to title this "A Trucker's Turnaround." Now, as it says in the scroll, I beseech you, therefore, family, my shapache, achet, akoti, brother, sister. I encourage you to pay attention to the order of these things that I'm talking to you about, that I'm led to come out with my testimony about, because essentially this is what you do when you want to um, when you are led to speak for something, because the messages we get are from the day. So what I'm getting to is, like, I'm gonna start the story from the end because it started from the beginning. So each day we go through things in life in order to know, in order to learn, in order to apply or ingest in our hearts the lesson that we learned from the day, and we rest in that. So we begin our days with rest from the lessons learned from the previous day. Evening to rising begins the day, right? So the last thing I saw, coming up here, I'm up here in the mountains, right? The last thing I saw was cows sitting down in the farm. Cows chew the cud, right? That you're constantly chewing something that you're starting to go through in life, and that's where you are at that time, right? Um, so that's the last thing I saw. No, no, no. Actually, I told a fib. The last thing I saw was a bird flying across the farm. I believe it was a hawk. Bird's eye view. So going back to the bird's eye view after learning and putting together the lesson that you learned, what struck the lesson, what struck the passion in your heart, what irritated your soul, what gave you that sackcloth. The last thing I saw was birds flying across the top, right? Which is like, all right, you learned your lesson, back to the bird's eye view. How did I learn my lesson? Because of the cows that are resting now after chewing the cud. Before that, I saw cows going across the field chewing cud, right? Before that, I saw a line of sheep going to feed, right? And before that, right? So far we got going back to the bird's eye view because the cows have finished chewing the cud, because you have followed the direction that the righteous shepherd has in the line to get the feeding that you needed from what irritated you. Before that, right? You still with me? Before that, I was with today I got a Black Panther hat on. It's not a Black Panther's hat, but this is why it struck your soul in that way. It's a hat. Many might know it's like they have a character of an animal imprinting on the hat, and it says Panther on top. The character imprinted is a Black Panther. All right, so that's why I said that. I was driving up here, and there was a trucker, and on the front of the trucker's truck, he has an American flag, right? But there was no tension. I don't have tension with anybody that rocks the American flag, right? Why? Because I know of origin. So the thing that makes people combat, especially with people in the culture of the Hebraic culture, and especially with people that, even with the Black Panther movement and stuff like that, the reason why there's so much confliction, even with the Confederate flag, is because people pick a certain point in time to rock with instead of going to origin, where none of this was even a thing. If we all went back to origin, we will all get along. But the thing is that conscious confrontation is when you grab something in your past or in the past of your family's life and you hold on to it, because that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a life lesson. You learn it, you let it go. You don't hold on to it unless it's righteous, right? So that's the issue. But I got to that because I'm like, hey, I got this hat. I wave to dude wave back. I know he sees this hat. He knows I see that flag, but there's no tension. Why? Because I understand origin. Because he understands origin, right? And how's it going, fam? How's it going? I'm just not looking at the screen. I'm just giving it out, looking out as I'm going back through my day, right? Um, so that's what happened then, right? What happened before that was there's a not even a homeless man, a man that has no need of a home because he is at home, right? He's on the corner. I'm coming to the light. I'm about to take a left hand turn. He's on the corner, right? And in my mind, I'm like, I want to give him $5. Like, I know I got cash. I don't know how much cash. I know I got a couple 20s in there. But the first thing that came to my mind was $5. I don't feel bad about not giving him the 20. I might need that for something else during the day. I don't know because I haven't gotten there yet, right? But five represents high in Hebrew character, which is Ravak HaKodash, right? Because again, if we all went back to origin, right? That even with churches, the one thing with churches, they argue with Hebrews and the Hebraic culture is because the only thing is you don't go back to origin. Why? Because they simply don't understand it. They don't stand under the standard of it. When in the Bible it talks about leading the sheep, or when people say that they're leading the sheep to a burning fire, it's because the fire is supposed to refine you, not burn you up. The people get burnt up in the church because they don't know Hebrew characters, don't have a reason not to, don't have a reason not even to try. It's just because they don't want to, right? And until you understand everything, because that is the language spoken into us, because in beginning, Abba spoke Alachayim, right? Badashat bara Alachayim at Shamayam, wait, Badashat bara Alachayim at Shamayam at Barak, right? So in beginning, Abba spoke righteous direction into man. Abba used righteous direction spoken into earth for an option of man to be in. What did Adam do? Adam was first in righteousness, but then went into knowledge of wickedness that he was not prepared for because he was not allotted that yet. That was specifically spoken. And as soon as he did that, what happened? As soon as he did that, he became overcome by it. He thought he was naked, right? So bringing all that together, going back to the truck and the guy and me, I understand going all the way back to origin, because in the beginning it was righteous direction. That's what I sit in. That's what I walk in. That's what I am in, right? To be like this, when, like he said, I was listening to my brother Dorsey this Friday, even that message, like the timeliness of it, by the time I got in thought process of some things, it was right in line of what he spoke last night. I wasn't supposed to catch it last night, right? But he was like, Abba says, talking about the Messiah, Yahashua HaMashiach, and this is my son, in him I am well pleased. So everything that he walked in and sat in was pleasing to the Most High, which is the righteous direction originally spoken to Adam, or man, woman, right? Yahashua being the second Adam, right? The real natural intent. So back to the homeless, not even a homeless man. I gave him $5. And I believe he would know what that means, because what he told me was heavy. And then mind you, I'm working backwards, but I beseech you to marinate on this, even if you got to play it back on the order of how all this came together before I even do anything next, because I have to get this out and I got time, right? So he told me, he's like, there's two things that people that you will never find, and that's love and a way to heaven, or a way to Shamayim. And at first I'm like, yes, there is, but I marinated on it. I chewed the cud like a cow. And I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying. Either you are it or you're not it. And this is coming from a man you would think is homeless. You would think he has nothing. He gave me knowledge because I gave him something in return. And what he gave me was the best thing that he had, was knowledge, because of what he goes through in life. He told me two things people will never find that they constantly look for is love and a way to heaven. You have to have that in you. You have to walk in it. You can't stop anywhere. If there's more in the Bible, there's Psalms 119. If you don't know those characters, you still have to keep going. You still have to. If you don't, fine. But you're going to get burnt up in that fire instead of getting refined by it. That's the way. That's the purpose, right? Right? So, and before that, I hit a truck turnaround sign. This is a truck turnaround. I drive trucks. This is a trucker thing. One thing trucking has made me, I used to be a quote-unquote aggressive driver, right? Just because I hold the line, I'm going to hold the line. Thinking about the sheep walking in line to feed, I'm going to hold the line no matter what. But what trucking taught me is that people just don't know something. People just don't know some things. Not that they're riding behind you on your trailer because they're trying to push you out the way. They might, but they just don't know better that it's not a smart thing to do. They don't know, some people might not know to cut you off. You don't do that. What truckers try to do and get messed up and get in accidents is they try to use the truck to make people learn a lesson. By you doing the right thing in the truck, it makes a person think. Like every time somebody does something irritating, I'll move out the way, I would slow down, I'll let them pass, and I will wave at them and smile. If they do something good, I would do like, good job, in the mirror, because we know y'all looking, right? But this makes people feel better about what they're doing. It makes people feel better, like, okay, that's gonna plant a seed in their mind instead of being aggressive. Trucking has turned me around, right? So going back to that, what happened even in the beginning, no, before that, no. I was at the last stop to get my trailer, right? I see two trailers there. I love by something's about to happen here. Before that, my ear was not even itching. It was just a random twitch to touch my ear for some reason, right? I need to hear something, okay? You got to be kind of wild in order to understand everything, because wild is outside of society's viewpoint. That they diverge from the original viewpoint. So you have to be wild in order to see anything correctly. You have to be of nature in order to see anything correctly, right? So his airlines are not released. You're dragging your trailer, Bubba. All right. I mean, yeah. Okay. Anyway, um, I get to the job to switch up the trailers. There's 2 trailers there, right? I see a yard jockey behind it. He's doing count of inventory of the trailers, right? So I see one empty one. Boom. I'm going to go. I haven't looked any further than this, right? He doesn't know this. So what I was going to tell him is like, hey, I don't know if you have a count for an empty, but I'm going to take this empty, right? So he sees me walk around, do the pre-trip inspection. I get in the truck. I go to back in. I look behind me. I see a yard jockey truck here now. I walk past his yard jockey truck 2 or 3 times. No words. I'll do my pre-trip inspection. No words. I get in my truck. I back in. I make a move. He doesn't know better, right? Mind you. So I make a move. Now all of a sudden, I see a truck behind me to cut me off. Very dangerous. Because if I didn't look back like I was supposed to, there would have been an accident, and then I would have got in trouble anyway, right? So good thing I looked. But me being the old me, the one thing I didn't like what happened to me. The one thing you're not gonna do, right? I almost went back to that dude. The one thing I didn't like to happen was that somebody's gonna use your words. Use your words. Don't block me in, because then it's like, I bet you won't. And I'm like, says who? That's my natural inclination. I get angry. When I get really angry, I try not to, but if I get really angry, my eyes turn red. They get watery and they dry in. So right there, what that makes you think about afterwards, as I'm chewing the cud, is red representing passion, right? Just like the flag. People don't know the colors of it. Red representing passion, white, absence of color, but the opportunity of something to happen there. Blue, peace, right? But my eyes, red, passion, water's going in and out. Waters is what you walk in, what you learn from, the ways that you walk in, right? That represents water. This could be government, thinking process, etc., things along those lines, right? So I feel him getting like, I'm not noticing any of this until the end of this, by the time I got here, because I'm chewing the cud, because one thing I did was be quiet, right? People all the time coming up, why are you so quiet? Now I see why. Right? So I tell him, I'm like, hey, you don't understand what has to happen here, because this conversation, what's happening here, was had last night outside of your knowing. So call the person that I had the conversation with. Me not telling him why is because right now I'm teed off. Right? I'm trying to fight it. I say, call the person that told me to do this, right? And we'll go from there. Long story less long. We get it situated. I go to get the trailer beside it. It's labeled something different. We don't usually move these trailers. The guy that came in definitely came in with the trailer at the right time, right? You got to have a wide eye about these things. What do I mean about that? A wide eye is a sniper's eye. It's a shooter's eye, right? Somebody that's used to looking at a target and hitting the target, naturally your eyes become wider at a natural resting place, right? That's what people will call a shooter's eye, right? You got to be able to see things, because why did this all happen? I was irritated because I was not made aware of something to start the day, and I found out when I walked into it to go for it. I wasn't made aware of it. It irritated me. Long story less long. Let's go all the way to the end before I keep going. I'm about to end it here so I can keep going through this day, right? What happened there is because I wasn't made aware of something that I should have been made aware of, so I could keep going about my day smoothly, right? So that means that people don't know, right? You have to make them aware of things. In this walk, we're going to talk about this Shabbat, or this Shabbat I'm able to observe, right? This is outside the Hebraic calendar. I obviously work during the week, so Saturdays are my days that I'm able to do it. So Saturday we will go in deeper on this, but a righteous man has no dark eye. He was not made with a dark eye. It's what the ears have heard and what the mouth has spoken that causes a person to be wicked. That's in the Testament of Benjamin Ben Yaman, right? Look into that. We have to make people aware, because what we have in this culture is, who we are in this culture is, we are naturally chosen to walk around with something that people are not going to understand. Like, we're chosen for that, chosen to be able to break things down by the way we see things in life, because people will not understand. Not everybody, but some people will not understand. Right? So pay attention to your day. Long story less long. Pay attention to your day. Pay attention to what's happening before, happening at the end of the day, what's happening all together. So that way you're able to bring these things together, so you're you're able to give a testimony. So that way you're able to do things correctly. That way you're able to speak this out. That way we're able to fix this problem in this system. Right? But I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna share it in a couple places. Love y'all. Salam aparat. And peace. You will find blessings. Ahaba at Yahweh, the love of Yahweh towards you. Why? Because Yahweh at Yahweh. Ahaba. Right? Yahweh, the righteous direction is the direction of love. Right? Sham Yahweh. Salam aparat, fam. Great to see you, sis. I'm finally looking down at the phone. You know, sometimes, like we were talking about, you just gotta look out, close your eyes, and just download it. Right? But shalom, everybody. Drazen Merck, Justin Piercy, Noemi, Sis Shantae, Journey Strokes, all y'all. What's going on? Salam Barak fam. Be safe out here. Much love, much respect. Peace.